You know what? My dad was the guy that everybody knew. When he started off, he had a Sunoco station as a 19-year-old kid, and had a gas station business. And towards the end of his life, he got a license to sell used cars, and then unfortunately he got cancer and he passed away when he was only 46. That Sunoco station was like in the hub of Cumberland, Rhode Island, and everybody knew him, and he took care of people. And even to this day, we'll have some old folks come in and say, geez, I remember your dad, and he helped me out, and I didn't have enough money to pay for the repairs, so he let me make payments. And hearing stories like that, you realize what you need to do when you're a small business in a small local community. And when we got started, which was in the mid-'80s, after my dad had passed away, we took over the used car dealership, and we took his example. And once we started getting going a little bit, making a little bit of money, we thought it was important to help out the community wherever we could, and in the beginning it was small gestures, helping out the local Little League baseball team, or sponsorship for somebody's pageant or dance recitals or things like that. But we did a lot of that stuff, and then slowly we just started doing more and more and more. A former customer whose husband had passed away in a motorcycle accident in Woonsocket, and it was pretty well known. They came to me recently and asked if I would help them out and sponsor their ride. They do a ride to fund a scholarship. And the woman who came was the young man who passed. It was his mother, who came on behalf of his wife, her daughter-in-law, to ask if we would help. And we helped, and it was a modest help compared to some of the things we've done, but she was so thankful and had tears in her eyes, and recently sent me a handwritten note, a t-shirt from the event, what they've done with the scholarship money, how many scholarships they've given up to this point. And it was pretty cool. When you're tied in with Subaru, Subaru is big into pets. They've got dogs on their commercials. They sponsor Pet Month, which is always in October every year. I don't know, pets are just our thing. And we got tied in with the Rhode Island SPCA years ago. I don't even remember how it started, but we continue that relationship. We've probably been working with them for, I don't even know, 15, 20 years. We've done adoption events here where they've brought dogs and cats and so forth here to have adoption events. And we had vendors in here trying to raise money. We held raffles. We did all of those things. Subaru has the National Underdog Day, which is usually around the 20th of the month, 22nd of the month of October, where they're trying to shine a light on what they call the underdogs, the dogs that people don't run into the shelter intending to adopt. Puppies, there's usually not too much trouble adopting off a puppy. An older dog or a dog with a physical ailment, things like that, those dogs can tend to hang around a while in a shelter. So we take that day, and we've turned that day into half the month. We'll pay for the adoptions. We've paid for training if dogs needed specialized training. We've paid for some medical things to try to give these dogs a shot to get a home, to get a forever home, and they'll stick. Our customers, our Anchor family, has always responded hugely with stuff like that. The Share the Love program is something that Subaru started years ago. Subaru's idea was, we do so much for the community, we'd like you to do more, but we'd like to sort of shine a light on it so everybody realizes what your connection is to the community. Trying to get dealers to be more than a car dealer, just as they say at Subaru, we're more than a car company. When it started, Subaru would have 5 national charities, and it was a national park, the ASPCA, the National ASPCA, Meals on Wheels, things like that. And they have these organizations. And between Subaru of America and the dealer, we would donate $250 to one of those national charities for every vehicle that got sold from the middle of November through the year end. And the dealers really came forward and said, we'd like to do something a little more on the local scale. So they allowed us to partner with some organizations that we felt strongly about. things that we thought in our community needed some attention. In the past few years, we've done the Rhode Island SPCA, of course. But most recently, the last few years, we've partnered with Crossroads, Rhode Island. Crossroads had a little special extra for us because they deal with not just homelessness, but they deal with trying to correct it. They're not just about providing housing, they're about providing training, job training, education, to try to break the cycle of somebody being homeless. So we've donated a lot of money, time, but it's just the most wonderful cause. The problem recently, last year, that we had was these donation amounts are tied to the amount of vehicles that get sold. Last year, I believe it was $300 per vehicle that we were donating between us and Subaru together to these organizations for every vehicle that was sold, which was great until the chip shortage came in and the supply chain problems came in, and our available inventory was slashed by 2/3, and instead of selling the normal amount of cars that we sold, we were selling 1/3 of what we normally would sell. So as you can imagine, it doesn't leave a heck of a lot of funds to be donated if you're selling 1/3 of what you normally would sell. Last year we dueled with Crossroads and the food bank, and again, that was because of the pandemic. There was a lot of homelessness, and there was a lot of people that needed some help with food. So we decided to partner with them as well. But when we got to the end, we were a little short because of the lack of vehicles, and we ended up rounding up probably our largest donations during the Share the Love event to try to get them the help they needed. We had a pretty good year, and we wanted to give back a little extra. So that's another memory that is a good one for us. We enjoyed doing that, and they were extremely thankful and gave us a lot of feedback on where those funds went and how many people were helped and so forth, which is all we need to know.